Hello children, so let's continue with the chapter. So we have read here that the news was just set and they have found that the merchant's neck doesn't fit to the news, and that's why the king he just ordered the messengers to go and to find a man whose neck would fit the stake. What So they went to the disciple who had just made himself very fat by eating ghee, rice, and banana. What I have done wrong, I am innocent. I am a sannyasi, he cried. That may be true, but it's the royal decree, and that we should find a man fat enough to fit the stake. They said and carried him to the place of exit. Okay, so what happened? They just told the disciple told that he is a sannyasi and he is very innocent. Okay, so the messengers told that no, it may be true, but according to the law, to the royal decree means loyal law, they have to find a man whose neck just fit, or a man fat enough to fit the stake. They said and carried him to the palace. Okay. He remembered his wise guru's words, and now he remembered his wise guru's words. Okay. This is a city of fools. You don't know what they will do next. While he was waiting for death, he prayed to his guru in his heart, asking him to hear his cry wherever he was. Now he realized that whatever his guru told was really true, and he was just recalling, he just prayed his guru to help him. The guru saw everything in a vision. He had magical powers. He could see far, and he could see the future as he could see the present and the past. So his guru was a very visionary man, and as he could see the past and present, in the same way he could see future also. He arrived at once to save his disciple who had got himself into such a scrape through love of food. So he knew that what is going to happen in the future, and that's why he went to save his disciple. Okay, who had just put into such a trouble, or who had just put himself into a trouble because of love of food. As soon as he arrived, he scolded the disciple and told him something in a whisper. Then he went to the king and addressed him, O wisest of kings, who is greater, the guru or the disciple? Of course the guru, no doubt about it. Why do you ask? Then put me to the stake first, put my disciple to death after him. So he had just spoken something in his ears. Okay, and then the guru just addressed that who is the wisest, that who is greater, the guru or the disciple. And he told that you are the wisest king. So obviously the king told, obviously the guru is greater, and that's why he pleaded that as the guru is greater, please put me to death after him. So put me to the stake first, put my disciple to death after me. So what he told, first you put me after death, and after I die you just put my disciple on the death. When the disciple heard this, he understood and began to clamor, me first, you brought me here first, put me to death first, not him. So when the disciple heard this, he told that no, please don't put my guru first. Okay, put me to death first. The guru and the disciple now got into a fight about who should go first. The king was puzzled by this behavior. He asked the guru, why do you want to die? We chose him because we needed a fat man for the stake. So he was just confused at why they both of them are having such a weird behavior. Okay, and why they want to die. So he asked the guru that we have just chose him, your disciple, because we need a fat man for the stake. Okay, but why you want to die? You shouldn't ask me such questions. Put me to death first, replied the Guru. Why? There's some mystery here. As a wise man, you must make me understand. So he says that something mystery is there. So please, as a wise man, you just make me understand what is the problem. Will you promise to put me to death if I tell you? Asked the Guru. The king gave him his solemn words. The Guru took him aside out of the servant's earshot and whispered to him, do you know why we want to die right now, the two of us? We have been all over the world, but we have never found a city like this or a king like you. That stake is the stake of the God of justice. It's new, it has never had a criminal on it. Whosoever dies on it first will be reborn as the king of this country. So what he told, he was really very wise man, and what he told him lie. What lie he has put that yes, this stake is a stake of the God, okay, of justice. It's new, it has never had a criminal on it. Okay, and so whosoever will die on this first will rebirth, okay, will reborn, and he will become the king of this country. And whosoever goes next will be the future minister of this country, and the second one will become the minister of the country. We are sick of our aesthetic life. It would be nice to enjoy ourselves as king and minister for a while. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first, remember. So he told that we are just sick, we are just fed up of this aesthetic life, of this sannyasi life, and that's why he told that it would be nice if you just put me first on the for on the death and then the disciple. Now keep your word, my lord, and put us to death. Me first, remember. So that's why now the king understood why both of them were fighting to die. The king was now thrown into deep thought. He didn't want to lose the kingdom to anyone else in the next round of life. He needed time. So he ordered the execution postponed to the next day and talked in secret with his minister. So the king had just pondered, he had a deep thought that what to be done, because he don't want to lose his kingdom in the next birth also. So for the timing he had just postponed the execution, and he had a conversation with his minister. It's not right for us to give over the kingdom to others in the next life. Let's go on the stake ourselves and we will be reborn as king and minister again. Holy men do not tell lies, he said, and the minister agreed. So what they have decided, he had a conversation with minister, and he told that we don't want to lose the kingdom in next birth also. So he told that let us just go on the stake of ourselves, okay, and then again he will become the king and the minister will become the minister. And he thought that yes, the holy man, the guru, never tell lies. So he told the executioners, we will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. Then do the same to the second man. Those are my orders, don't make any mistake. So the king told the executioners that we will send the criminals tonight. When the first man comes to you, put him to death first. So he told that he will just send the criminals that night, and the one who's going to come first to be put on death first, and the second one at the second position. That night, the king and his minister went secretly to the prison, released the guru and the disciple, disguised themselves as the two, and as arranged beforehand with loyal servants, were taken to the stake and promptly executed. So that night, what happened? The king and the minister, they went secretly to the prison and they released the guru and the disciple. Disguise means to hide, to conceal, and they have just concealed themselves as the guru and the disciple. And the loyal servants had just they couldn't make out that who's the first one or who's the second one. They had just followed the instruction of the king, and they have just executed the king and the minister. When the bodies were taken out to be thrown to the crows and vultures, the people panicked. They saw before them the dead bodies of the king and the minister. The city was in confusion. So when the body was just taken out, okay, and it was just thrown to crows and the vultures at that time, the people were confused, and they were just terrified that how this can happen, how the king and the minister can die, or how they can just put themselves on death. All night they mourned and discussed the future of the kingdom. Some people suddenly thought of the Guru and the disciple and caught up with them as they were preparing to leave town unnoticed. So now they had a ponder. The people were thinking that who would be the next king and the disciple. Then some people just thought of the Guru and the disciple, and they just caught them as they were just ready to leave the town unnoticed. We people need a king and the minister, said someone. Others agreed. They begged the Guru and the disciple to be their king and their minister. It didn't take many arguments to pursue the disciple, but it took longer to pursue the Guru. Yes. So the disciple just agreed quickly than the Guru. So it took a long time to pursue to get the consent from the Guru. They finally agreed to rule the kingdom of the foolish king and the silly minister on the condition that they could change all the old laws. So finally they agreed to this, but they told that they are going to change all the old laws, they are going to make the new laws. Okay, so as they were very wise, Guru was very wise, and now he's going to become the king. So obviously now this kingdom would no longer be the kingdom of fools. From then on, night would again be night, and day would be day, and day would again be day, and you could get nothing for the dodo. It became like any other place. Okay, so what he told that it has become a very natural, a very good, a law or the nature of abiding city or the town or the kingdom which follow the rules or regulations. The day becomes the day and the night becomes the night, and they thought that yes, nothing is going to get in Dodu. Okay, so now it has become a good place like the other place. So I think this chapter is very much clear to you. Thank you, children.